So the first place you look, I think, when you're seeing how successful you are and how things are going is Google. Now, it so happens that my company has a particularly obscure name, so it's not tricky for us to get a few results, I think. There's 49,300 results for the consultants-e, which is pretty good. And so, as I say on the next screen, feeling pretty smug with that. That's good news. Consultancy, 49,300. My name's 71,000. My colleague beats me. Nikki at the back there. Although I reckon it's such a common name, it's probably about 20 people, so... the book that Nikki and I wrote does pretty well, and for a couple of our kind of core business things, e-moderation training, Second Life Languages, we're in the top 10 of results. It's pretty good. Quite happy with that. But it turns out that no one's actually using Google anymore anyway. So if you look, this is from a whole report on search engines and social networking that came out in Newsweek in November of last year. Can you see those at the back? Do I need to intone them? You can't see the one at the bottom, I guess. Well, the one at the bottom is actually more important. So if you read the one at the top, I'll shout out the one at the bottom in a second. The one at the bottom says, if I'm looking for a movie, I want to know what movies my friends liked. And if I want to buy a sofa, I'd rather buy it from the recommendation of a friend than a stranger. So a lot of people, especially younger, these Gen Z people, are not actually reading brochures and looking at websites particularly. They're asking their friends on Facebook and things like that, you know, do you learn English? Where do you go? And they're going to get some recommendations. They're not going to be surfing on Google. I mean, it's true. I mean, when I go shopping these days, the first thing I do is read reviews from other buyers on the internet. Did they like it? Because the people who make it aren't going to tell the truth. I mean, Sony tell me my laptop battery is going to last 7 hours. Someone who's bought one will tell me it's 2.5.
If it's a real review.
If it's a real review, sure. There are ways of playing the system, obviously. But depending on the shopping review site you go to, you can get some fairly honest reviews from people, or at least you should be able to spot them. I'll give you another example, which I really loved. This someone says, hi, has anyone out there done a delta at, name of school blanked out? If so, any insights? And I'm going to read you this paragraph. It says, I didn't do the delta there, but I did the CELTA there, and I think it's a pretty good school. My course was taught by who I would never want to study under again because he passed judgment on students' lifestyles and treated many students disrespectfully when he disapproved of their personal out-of-school choices, and, name of tutor blanked out, who was an excellent teacher. The school's great, the location is fabulous, and then the name of someone else, who arranged homestays and other logistical stuff, is a very sweet woman. There's a cute bar serving breakfast, lunch and drinks right in the school, and the school has a great resource library which is kept under lock and key. And another name was a bit bonkers, but I understand she's left. And you've got to ask yourself, if you read that, there's some nice things about it, but generally I'm thinking, okay, there's a teacher who doesn't like people. There's a bonkers woman, she's left, but maybe she infected other people before she left. So
I think it's a pretty good school, she says.
there's a lot of positive, but there's also a lot of negative. Where are the people from that school? Why aren't they on there? Writing, you said, were the reviews real? If I was working in that school, I'd be writing saying, I went there and did the delta, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever done in my entire life. All the tutors were handsome, very intelligent, and lovely. And they gave us £10 in cash every morning. Why aren't they there doing that? People are not using the technology properly, you know, and so people are talking about them behind their back, but they're not even aware of it. I find this quite startling. Starting with Google Alerts and then working through the rest of them. Does anyone know anything about Google Alerts? So it's kind of like automatic ego surfing. And what you do is you tell Google to keep an eye out for particular phrases coming up when it's trawling and indexing the web. So I get it to keep an eye out for my name and my Second Life avatar name, who's actually becoming more famous than I am. Things like the title of the book I wrote with Nikki and the company, etc., etc., etc. And every time someone posts something to the web that mentions these things, I get an email. And you can see what the email looks like. It looks like this. So it's a Google Web Alert for my company's domain name. And it gives me a link to where it's being written about or mentioned. And this happens fairly quickly. You know, sometimes it's about half an hour after the person's put their blog posting up or their website up or whatever. And the first thing I do when the alerts come in is I go along to those pages. If it's a blog and they've talked about us, and if they've said something nice, I leave a message. I leave a comment on the blog saying, thank you very much, so nice of you to mention it, and blah, 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 etc., etc. It's that kind of immediate reaction that really surprises people and gratifies people. It's very easy to do.